All right, welcome to the Sports Guys. We have another great episode for you guys tonight. Tonight, we get to break down this amazing game we just witnessed on Monday night. Rob and I picked it. If you look back a couple weeks ago, we did our preview show of the college football playoff. We said it was going to be Indiana, and we said that Miami would give them the best game, and that turned out to be true. It was a fantastic game. Could have gone either way. Miami was driving for the winning score through a pick, unfortunately, but in the end, we got the result we kind of expected. We both picked Indiana to win the whole thing. How you doing, Robbie?
Oh, I'm doing great. What a weekend. It was an awesome weekend.
It really was. What did you
Yeah.
think of the championship game? What were your first takeaways?
I think there's a lot of times where I try to resist the impulse to say greatest coach ever, greatest wide receiver ever, greatest game ever, because there's a recency bias that's real. People really believe that
Mm-hmm.
they want to believe that they're watching the greatest ever. Like, is LeBron the greatest basketball player of all time? I mean, he's not. Like, there's a recency bias that leads you to believe something, but I think in this case, we might be looking at one of the greatest sports stories that we've seen since maybe Miracle on Ice. I've heard it compared
Or what
to
about Rudy? They're comparing it to Rudy, the
Rudy. That's
movie.
just
And by the
like
way, that wasn't even real. So it
these
was
are
like a movie.
these aren't just a good championship game. This is like epic. Uh, it's like an epic story, you know, that I think
Indiana,
it's going to take years to tell this story.
Indiana's the losingest team in college football
Yeah,
history. And they, in two
yeah.
years, Cignetti goes there. He takes like 20 something players from JMU and goes and builds this winning franchise that now is beating all the big boys and is a destination school. He makes this championship run this year, goes 16-0 with 0 5 stars,
Yeah.
and he's beating all these teams that are loaded with NFL talent. It's remarkable.
And he's pummeling most of them. Like, he's not beating them a little bit. He's pummeling them by, several touchdowns.
And on the other side, Miami, I mean, coming from a much maligned
Wow.
conference, everyone had written off the ACC, that it sucked and all that kind of stuff. You and I both didn't agree with that. And we felt like the ACC was actually a little better this year and deeper.
I thought so. Yeah, for sure.
And then we watched this team kind of, have a couple bad losses during the season. They did beat Notre Dame. That's what really got them in the playoff. But
Yeah.
they had a couple bad losses. And then they had that game against Pittsburgh, which was about 4 weeks before the end of the season, and they blew them off the field. A really good
Yeah, and
Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh was playing really good football at that time, so that was a shocker.
We saw that and we were like, okay, maybe Miami is a playoff team. That kind of got them back on track. And then from there on, they just steamrolled everybody. And I
I
think we
thought
got
it should have been Virginia Miami in the ACC championship game.
to.
I knew it wasn't going to work out that way, but I felt like those were the two best teams that I saw this year.
Mhm.
And Miami probably would have destroyed Virginia, actually.
Probably. Well, I don't know. It could have been competitive, but bottom line is, don't you think we got the two best teams in the final?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, because Miami's offense held their own and their defense
Mhm.
was like NFL. It was like an NFL defense out there.
I don't think I've seen Mendoza get battered like that before. I mean, he got absolutely battered the whole game.
Oh,
He
I
was
have, but not
bleeding all
not so
over the
much
place.
this season.
Mhm.
Have you seen those clips of him at Cal? Oof,
Yeah, that's true. That is
he was
true.
getting beat up.
I mean, Miami did everything they could in this game. I thought they had a really good game plan.
Yeah.
Um, and yet in the first half, they just couldn't get any points. It was 10-0 at half.
They ran the
And
ball and played defense. That's all you can do. That's all you can ask. You're facing a team that is sort of one for the ages, and you're just trying to fight history.
and then they got a couple big explosive plays in the passing game, which I thought they would, especially with Malachi Tony. Um, and then Indiana had this kid that midway through the season wasn't even playing at all. And all of a sudden, he's just emerged at the back end of the season and became essentially Mendoza's go-to receiver. It was pretty wild. Every time he needed a first down, he'd go to this guy.
Yeah, he was excellent. He's Mendoza's roommate, so
Right.
they know each other really well.
Yeah. So it was fun to
He
watch him
he's a
because
very good receiver. I think he certainly helped his draft stock from zero to they got their eye on him now. But I've been saying it for the second half of the season at least that they have three NFL receivers, and I
Hmm.
really believe that. The one I liked the most of the season was Omar Cooper Jr., who had a really good game actually. He led the team in receiving uh in the championship game.
Yeah, you got
Um,
him. You got Surratt,
but
who had a fantastic season.
yes, Surratt had an amazing season, not a good finals game, but
Mhm.
I think they were really trying to take him away. So
So you're right.
um,
They have three bona fide NFL
yeah,
caliber receivers. Then
I
they have
know.
Hemby running all over the place. They can really
Yeah.
run. And no one's talking about Indiana's defense, but it's fantastic too. I mean,
Oh
they
man.
held their own against every team they played this year.
You and I said it today in the car. Neither team could believe how physical the other's defense was.
Hmm. That's right.
Now, I think that's absolutely right. You know, they
Every
were
time I would see Bain do
stunned
something, then I see Mesidor do something. Like, how many NFL talent do they have on Miami? It's unbelievable.
a lot.
The guys they send at you.
Miami has the best offensive and defensive lines in the country,
Hmm. That's true.
and that's why they were such a handful. Because I think if Indiana had played your traditional team, one of these like kind of glam, high scoring Oregon, or they would have
Hmm.
blown them off the map. Like it would have been, they would have won by 30.
So
But
overall,
because Miami was looking for a bare knuckle brawl, uh, Indiana had to like get get bloody, you know. So that's cool.
so what are your thoughts about the play that's behind you right now? I mean, we've talked about greatest plays ever. Don't you think that's in the top three in college football? It has to be.
Yeah,
To win a
yeah, it
championship
was
game like that.
incredible. It was incredible. I mean, first of all, just leading up to that play, um, they had all this consternation. What do we do? They looked a little flustered. They went up. They put their kick team in. Nobody looked sure what they were doing. They called timeout. They pulled everyone off. Then they put the offense back on, and they called a quarterback keeper on a 4th and 5
From the 20.
from the 20.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, they could easily just chip shot field goal,
Hmm.
you know. So
And by the way, they had already converted another 4th and 5 earlier that drive. So, I mean, Signetti was
yeah,
going to be aggressive no matter what. That's just how he is.
no
He's
matter
going to
what.
be aggressive. If he goes down, he goes down, but he's not
He
going to not.
believes in his guys and they want him he wanted them to feel it.
Hmm. Yeah. So the biggest
So
three plays in the game, that's number one. Number two to me was the block punt. That was a humongous play in the game. Obviously, I don't think Indiana
huge.
would have probably won the game if they didn't block that punt.
Well, it's
Maybe.
impossible to say. It's impossible to take away an early play in the game and say what would happen the whole rest of the game. But um, it clearly would have been a slightly different outcome. We don't know what the outcome would have been, but it would have been different if you take that score away. Maybe it's even lower scoring. I don't know. But it, it it definitely shaped the early part of the game and kind of put Indiana on offense and the Canes a little bit on their heels.
I watched that type of punting style all season, and I kept scratching my head, not fully understanding it. I know some of the punters in college football are like Australian, or but they what they do is they receive the ball and then they start rolling out to the right like a quarterback would.
Yeah.
What they're expecting is they're expecting their blocking coverage to block that right side because he's a right-footed guy. And what
Mhm.
they want to do, apparently, they were saying after the game was they want to create what's called a dirty punt, where it makes the guy either field it badly or potentially even bounce right in front of him.
Yeah.
They want to create a dirty punt because they want to create no return. And I understand why you do it, but I just think in that huge a spot in such a big game, you're at your 10-yard line,
It's
it's just
risky.
super risky.
It's an
Just
unnecessary risk.
just get
Yeah.
the ball and just punt it away. Like, what are you doing? So
Yeah. No,
I
I
felt that
know.
was
I know.
that was play number two, and then I think play number three was the Beck interception. I mean, they were driving, they were down to 35-yard line. Um, they were having a really nice drive. I felt like potentially it could have gone either way, 50-50. Miami could have scored the touchdown there.
Yeah.
And Beck, unfortunately, several times in his career, he's had a very good career, but several times in his career in really big spots, he has thrown the really bad interception. And any other plays really come to mind for you other than those three?
Um, let's see. Miami had some nice ones. Nice play by Malachi Tony.
Oh, he's
My
fantastic.
goodness. My goodness.
I want him to go to the Panthers.
Yeah, and there was some good running plays for sure. But
They were
mostly, I mean,
showing
the one behind me is the number one.
the other guy we don't talk much about, but the Miami has that offensive lineman who's been rising, and they've got him now in the top 5 picks in the
Huge.
NFL draft. And they were showing him next to his position coach.
I know.
It's pathetic. The guy's like half his size. I'm not
Yeah.
kidding. He's
Yeah.
half his size.
Yeah, he's huge. I think he's like, what is he, 360 or something?
He's 75 or something. Yeah.
375, 6'9" or something.
Yeah.
Just an absolute animal, like, and pretty quick-footed. So he's
Yeah,
definitely
he's not
NFL.
he's not a plotting guy. He's
Yeah.
nimble.
He's
You know?
athletic. So
Yeah.
yeah. But Mark Fletcher having the game he had,
God, he had a huge
uh
game.
when
What a
he ripped
beautiful
off
run
that
it was.
long touchdown,
Beautiful.
um, just what a game. I mean, it was
I think
such a
if
great
Miami had
game.
won that game by a point, that Mark Fletcher touchdown might be the play you're talking about as one of the top three.
Yeah,
And it obviously was a great play, but it was a fantastic game. I really felt like
it was.
Miami was not outmatched. They were down 10-0. I know they were very disappointed that they bonked that field goal right at the end of the half and didn't get any points.
Mhm.
So that was a big miss. But overall, I just have to tip my hat to a really well played final.
Yeah. It was a heavyweight brawl, where the uh the favored boxer won, but what a fight Miami put up. I mean,
It
I think any team other than Miami would have gotten blown out.
doesn't it feel like they'll be back? I mean, they're going to get Mensa now.
Yeah. Oh
It feels like
yeah.
they're going to be back.
Yeah.
I, the kind of recruits they're getting right now, Cristobal,
Yeah. Yeah. They're rolling.
they're going to be a contender for sure. So,
Hmm.
last comment before we get into the stats. Wrap up the season for me. I mean, for me, it was one of the greatest college football seasons ever. Uh,
It
we
was.
had a lot of doubts going in because of NIL, because of transfer portal. I still think there's some things that need to be tightened up. I don't think the playoff system's perfect yet, and I think they need a salary cap to make it a little bit more fair. And I think that they've got to figure out some transfer portal rules that make sense, because you can't keep having, these big programs lure guys away for $10 million packages when the other school spent 3 years recruiting the guy. It's got to be
Right.
some kind of rules that we can decide on
Well,
here.
first of all, teams aren't really recruiting that hard in high school anymore compared to what they used to. Deion Sanders said it. He said, "I never go to high schools anymore." So they're pouring their energy and time into recruiting their own players to stay and transfers. It's kind of sad for the high school player. Like it's a whole separate discussion, but um, it's it's a
Well,
tough
what
time to not be like the five stars are still getting recruited out of high school, but if you're a two star, you're not getting the same level of attention. And you're probably, hey, I'll go to the lesser school. And if I perform well, the big schools will call me in year two
yeah,
or three, and I'll transfer then. So
you go play at ECU,
it's
or you go play at
it's different.
UAB, or one of those types
Yeah.
of schools, and you go prove yourself and become the best in that conference,
Yeah.
and then the big schools
Miami of
come.
Ohio.
Hmm. Yeah,
The only
I think
the only
that
school that you won't go to is Army because you're not going to transfer out.
I think they need to go to one transfer portal window, not two. And I think
Yep.
that they need to put some rules in place that if you've already transferred once, on your second transfer, you need to sit out a year or something like that. There needs to be
Yeah,
some
and it
reasonable,
has to be after the championships played.
right?
It can't be before it. That makes no sense.
And I think also we got to put something in place where we don't have another situation like we had with Lane Kiffin. I just think that was outrageous for
Right.
the kids. We should have
Yeah.
even potentially maybe a coaching transfer window where it happens after the
Yeah, I
season.
agree.
Yeah.
there has to be something where the alumni don't want somebody who's willing to do that or something, or there's got to be some pressure.
Anything else you can think of that would improve college football heading into next year?
I mean, I'm hearing all kinds of stuff. I don't think the draft is a good idea. That loses me. But I've heard that compensation needs to be paid when you take a player in the transfer portal from someone else. So maybe if you're going to bring in a kid from another school, you owe that school money,
Yeah, I
the
think so.
amount of value of that contract or something. I don't know.
And also,
So that it's
maybe
it's factored in. So if you take a $1 million good running back away from Wake Forest, you owe them a percentage of that $1 million or something. So the cost to you is now we're going to pay him two and half of the million that we owe Wake Forest now. So he's a $2.5 million running back.
mhm, it would make sense.
I don't
It
know,
would.
something like
And
that.
then adherence to a salary cap would make a little bit more competitive balance, I think. Um, or else you're going to have Texas A&M every year lead all
Yeah,
spenders.
yeah, yeah. You know what? It's interesting. Back in the day, there was this. If we're not careful, there will be consolidation of the blue bloods that will be different. Instead of it being centered around the SEC and all the Southern schools, if it's just about money, it'll end up being just the rich schools. So, like, the biggest programs with the biggest money rolling in and the biggest alumni are going to be the ones that
It'll be
become the
Ohio
new
State,
Alabama and
Michigan.
Georgias.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Ohio State, Michigan, Indiana. Now that they have Mark Cuban,
yeah.
yeah, it'll be.
UCLA, or I mean,
Mhm,
Cal.
mhm,
Um, I mean, sorry, USC, not Cal.
mhm,
USC, Notre Dame,
mhm.
you know, Ohio State, Michigan,
Texas A&M, Texas Tech.
Texas,
Mhm.
Texas A&M, Texas Tech, um, maybe one of the Florida schools. I don't know,
Or
but
Oregon's always going to have Nike
yeah,
behind them.
Oregon has
Mhm,
Nike. So yeah, if it comes down to just money, then you're just making new blue bloods that are
mhm.
going to be good every year, just like it was always Alabama, Georgia, and Ohio State every year.
That's right.
Um, and maybe Ohio State falters and starts to slip, and there's new blue bloods. But what I think's so exciting, this is a an earthquake because you you could say that Signetti's group spent some money in NIL, and that's for sure. But I was hearing even that charges that they bought this championship. I'm like, come on. I mean,
You know why this
they
is an
they
earthquake?
spent some money, but this is an earthquake because teams like Indiana go from last to first in the country within 2 years of this coach coming there,
That's why
and
it's
they
an earthquake.
started pumping money into the program, and this one special coach created an environment where they believed, and so
He goes from
that's
JMU and he brings a bunch of players with him, and then he uses one portal cycle. He builds the best team in the country. They go 16-0. He takes Mendoza out of Cal, who was just okay at Cal.
it
He
was
takes
good.
him and turns him into a Heisman Trophy winning, national championship winning quarterback.
Hmm.
And so every mid school out there in every one of the Power Four conferences and even the mid majors are looking at this and now they're dreaming. They're like, in the days of
Yeah.
Georgia and Alabama, I had no chance. As long as I got a rich guy behind me, I have the chance to build something special in a very short amount of time.
Yeah, no, it's true. I mean, think about back in the day, the reason Alabama and Georgia were going to steamroll you was not even that their starters were so much better than yours. It's that they had guys behind them waiting. And if they ever had an injury, they wouldn't get worse. They just had the new five-star kid go in and show some special talent that you've never seen before. So they had such a consolidation of talent and it was not spread around. It was all, you
Mm.
know, the first team of Georgia, the second team of Georgia, the third team of Georgia, and all the red shirts sitting there pounding on Vanderbilt, who had nobody. And then now The second team of Georgia transfers somewhere where they can start and get NIL money. The third team of Georgia, it now transfers out to a smaller school where they can start. And
Or go to
like,
like Tennessee. A lot of them will go to like someone
yeah.
else in the
And
SEC.
so
Yeah.
you want to play. I mean, the currency is money and playing time, right? So if you can't get playing time and that leads to you not making money, you're going to transfer.
You
So
know what Saban was talking about is Derrick Henry, who's probably the greatest high school running back of all time. I think he was. He has every record in the state of Florida.
maybe,
But
yeah,
his freshman year, he was third string. And Saban was saying, there's no way you would keep Derrick Henry as third string in
no
today's
way.
football. He wouldn't even stay as second
Although
string. He'd go to like Michigan
he
or something, you know?
he might be a special case, and I'll tell you why. Derrick Henry famously didn't know blocking schemes.
Maybe.
He was completely lost. And I remember one time, I think they said he was almost in tears after one of the first practices because they were telling him to block the weak side and block this and do this
Mhm.
and he's like he went to coach and he said, "Coach, I'm sorry, I just don't know what you're talking about. They just gave me the ball and I ran. I mean, that's all I knew and all I know." And so they had to start from scratch with Derrick Henry on coaching him up on all the things a running back needs to do other than just give him the ball and run. Like
Mhm.
he was so good at that that's all he ever needed to learn. So he might be a special exception, but I see
Maybe.
your point. Your point is a very valid one.
He wasn't going to languish on the bench very long before he could carry the ball. Let's put
No,
it that way.
no. In fact, other coaches would love the chance to try to um, say, "All right, I'll take you on as my project."
Yeah.
You know?
Derek, you come to Tennessee and you'll play right away.
Yeah,
Yeah. So
yeah.
you want to break down the stats? Here we go.
Let's go.
Let's take a moment to give a shout out to our sponsor for tonight, and that's DraftKings. They've been a long-time sponsor of ours. Rob and I've had a lot of fun just going out and doing small bets on DraftKings and playing fantasy football on DraftKings. What do you think of DraftKings, Robbie?
Great. I went a little crazy with the college games. I just have a great time. I like to really think through what I think's going to happen, look at the lines. There's so much fun stuff. There's so much information on the site. I love that. And I really enjoy seeing it puts some juice into the game. It's really a good time.
You know, the interface is really cool. The app's really cool, I think, both on the website
Yeah.
and the app itself. It's really easy to use. It's really exciting. It serves up a lot of interesting bets you wouldn't have thought of before. You can put like $5 down on kind of thing. I wanted to also mention the special deal they have right now. If you put a deposit down on your first bet of $5, if you win that bet, you get $300 of bonus bets, which is really cool. What a great
That
deal
is
that is.
cool.
Take advantage of that. But
They also have
again,
boost. You can boost your bet by a
mhm.
percentage. I did that in a couple college games, and it's a really cool way to enjoy sports and add
Mhm.
a little wrinkle, a
Mhm.
little extra juice.
It does give you a little bit of extra interest in the game. There's no doubt about it. So, guys, try DraftKings tonight. Go download their app or check out DraftKings.com and go ahead and download the app and put your first deposit down and go for that deal where you only have to bet $5. You can win $300 in bonus bets and do that tonight. Enjoy it.
A lot of fun.
See you next time. All right, so this is our CFP championship game breakdown, episode 106, Robbie. This championship
Mhm.
game was played in Miami on Monday, and what a fitting place for it to be played. You have that epic picture right there on the bottom left that you have behind you right now, and it shows the 27-21 epic score that we had with this really great game.
That was the play of the game right there.
And then a great picture there in the middle of all the Indiana guys celebrating after their championship, and Signetti still very stoic, although
Yeah,
it was pretty.
he allows himself to celebrate when it's all over
He
because the
smiled a
job is
little
done.
bit in the post-game press conference, and
Yeah,
also they asked him, "What are you going to do next?" He said, "I'm going to get a beer."
yeah, that's right.
And now there's a brewery in Indiana that has given him
Yeah,
lifetime free beer at their brewery.
I think that's great.
Yeah, and then
Yeah, I
on
mean,
the
this is
bottom,
the play of the game. He It was 4th and 5. He takes the ball. He sells that he's going to throw it. He drops back, really sells it, then takes off. He's running. He jukes two guys. Then he runs into a small group of guys,
Did you see the guy he ran into
spins.
and
Yeah,
spun? That guy,
yeah.
he hit him when he was at Cal really hard and
Flattened him.
almost knocked
Yeah,
him out. Yeah,
yeah.
the same guy.
He spun out of the two guys tackling him, and
Yeah.
then he lurched and dove for the to break the plane. And then this guy came in right at the end and drilled him in the back, and he didn't fumble it. So that was an incredible play. The
Okay.
guts to call that play when it's 4th and 5 and you can easily kick a field goal.
Two 4th and 5s on the same drive they converted.
I
Unbelievable.
know.
One of them to
I
that
know.
breakout receiver that had not been playing well. That's his roommate. So
Yeah.
what a great breakout he's had the last 5 weeks. Great
Charlie
picture
Becker.
there.
He's
Becker.
landed on many draft boards now where he was nobody before. I mean, not nobody before the game. He's had a really good season,
You know
but
what you noticed about him the last couple of
he had
weeks is
special catches.
not only is he his go-to guy now, but all of a sudden everyone's realized that he's got really sure hands, and that's a utility
Yeah.
when he's a
I,
possession receiver.
I'll
So
stop you short of him being the go-to guy, though. I'm sorry. I think Surratt was his third down guy all year.
he's
I
got
think
three go-to guys.
Omar Cooper was
Yeah.
his big splash play guy. Um, he had three guys.
Well, that's the point, is he had so many
Yeah,
receivers.
yeah, that's right.
You look to
I
the
loved
bottom right
Omar
there.
Cooper and
Yeah.
Surratt. So
Oh man, Surratt staying with him all the way from JMU. Surratt staying with
yeah,
him all the way from JMU until he got to Indiana, staying all 4
yeah,
years. Great picture there to the bottom with Beck and all the other Miami Hurricanes. You got Ruben Bain there on the right. Malachi Tony is really exciting. Scat back slash wide receiver that can do anything, plays in the slot, moves around. Man, as I said, as a freshman, he was really exciting. So all you can do is tip your hats. These
yeah.
were two great teams.
It was awesome.
Looking
I'd
at
love to
this,
see a rematch of this. You know what I
it
mean?
would be fun. Looking at the stats here, the first thing to the left there, you got Indiana pulling off the perfect season. First team ever to go 16-0, win the Heisman, win the Big Ten, win the Natty. I mean, Signetti at
Win
the
the
beginning of the season.
Heisman. Yeah, the Heisman, the Natty, they won it all. They
It's
won
like a
everything.
perfect season. There's nothing there's no blemish.
Yeah.
And Signetti, what they're talking about to Google him was at the beginning of the season, they were asking him, why do you think you can win at Indiana? Why do you think you can make it a destination location? And he just said, I win. Google me.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
And
right.
so that kind of Google him thing is catching on now because of that. Looking at the game leaders, Beck with 232, he did have that really hurtful pick at the end of the game. Mendoza 16 for 27, very efficient, under 200 yards. Didn't ask him to do too much, just to convert third and fourth downs for the most part. Fletcher had that huge game. We'd be talking about him with his 2
He was
touchdowns
awesome.
if they had won the game. And obviously, just a great player. He's going to be a good NFL back as well. And then
Oh,
Black,
yeah.
I thought, had some really great runs. There was some really
Mhm.
tough running up between the tackles that he
Yeah.
got. And then Hemby, of
He,
course, also picked up some first.
you know what I noticed with Black? His blocking was really good.
Yeah, that's right.
He took on a lot of pressure. Like,
I noticed that Black and Hemby were kind of a 1-2 punch, and Fletcher, they
mm,
pretty much gave him the ball every single time. They didn't really have the
yeah,
1-2 punch.
yeah.
So, Malachi Tony just absolutely dominated. He's almost uncoverable. 10 for 122 with a touchdown. Your guy Omar Cooper had a big game.
Yep.
Mezzador with 2 sacks. I mean, and he's not even their top guy. They just
He
had an
would be the
embarrassment.
top guy on any team in the
I
country.
know. They have an embarrassment of riches. Miami does.
Yeah.
So anything you took from any of these game leader stats?
So, first of all, I thought Beck played a pretty nice game. He was a good leader. They had some nice strikes, some really good offensive plays. I think Mendoza was special, and he showed why he's special. So that's no surprise there. If you just look at statistically speaking, you might think Beck had a better game than Mendoza, but Mendoza's contributions were so hard to quantify. They were
He's
amazing.
so he's so
Um,
efficient, and he runs the ball so
yeah,
well. He's actually a really
he
good runner.
just he just pulled all the right strings. He was a leader of the offense. He kind of reminds me of Brady. Brady's stats were never very impressive.
Hmm.
He was usually not a fantasy football guy. Brady was not a big quarterback in fantasy football because he knew that you take what the defense gives you. Sometimes it's handing the ball off, sometimes it's dropping the ball in a little to your check down. It's take advantage of what they are not that where their weak points are.
Hmm.
And I swear Mendoza is one of those guys. I mean, he's probably the best I've seen since Burrow.
He is. That's
Yeah,
exactly what it is. He's the best college quarterback since Burrow, and that's 7 years ago. So,
yeah.
yeah, I agree with you on all those things. When I look at the total team stats, both teams I thought were comparable in offense. The one thing I noticed, though, for Indiana, they were significantly more time of possession. They had much longer drives, 11 play,
Yep.
13 play, 14 play type drives, many times because they were converting third and fourth downs. Also, Miami had some really hurtful penalties that gave Indiana a couple first downs, which really hurt.
And but
So
that's who Miami is.
I know they have a
They're
lot of
they're
sloppy
they're giving
penalties.
you a little chin music when the play's over.
Yeah.
They're tough. They're just on the edge of legality a bunch of times.
What did
And
you think
that's
about the
who they are.
first three or four hits they did on Mendoza? A couple of those really should have been called, I think.
They were cheap shots.
Yeah.
And I
Insignetti
like
was good.
Miami. I have no problem with Miami. I'm just those were kind of cheap shots. They were hitting him well after the ball was gone.
I think they were
And
thinking maybe they wouldn't call it that early or something. I don't know. They were really going after it.
I think the refs were just really trying not to be a factor,
Hmm. Yeah, I don't know.
but
One of the ones he actually was bleeding on his lip from one of the hits, and they didn't even
oh
call it.
yeah.
You
That first one he got drilled.
Yeah.
He had a bloody lip. He went
I
down
think
hard and he popped up and he just said, "Let's go."
you look at these two teams, they're really evenly matched, 27-21, and essentially Miami made one turnover and a little bit more penalties, and that was it. That's all it
Yeah.
takes to lose a close
I
game
will
like
tell
that.
you that the commitment to the run, it was not obvious that Indiana would stay with the run, but they did. They ran the ball 45 times to Miami's 21,
Mm-hmm.
and they had 2.9 yards per carry against Miami's 5.2. So
Mm-hmm.
Miami was more productive with fewer runs, but they were putting the ball up more and putting the ball in more danger. So,
Well, those numbers were inflated because of Fletcher's very long 75-yard touchdown run.
and I was
But
about to say,
yeah.
anytime you rip one off, you're gonna inflate your average. So,
Mm-hmm.
um, truth is, without that long run, they still would have beaten the 2.9, but probably would have been like 3.5 or something.
It was
Um,
funny in the Fox One coverage of this game and the score. The guy started to try to make a conspiracy theory case that wait a minute, Indiana was favored by -7.5, and they only won by 6. It must have been a conspiracy. And then on the air, they went and looked it up and found that 70% of the money had been pounding Miami +7.5. So apparently,
mm,
there were bettors all over the country that did really well in this game. Not that
mm,
Miami won, but they covered the spread. People were taking the seven and a
right.
half. Yeah.
Miami played tough.
Yeah.
It was just an awesome,
I
awesome
think
game
that
that could
plus
have
seven
gone.
and a half, that's a good bet. I mean, I assume Indiana would win narrowly. And I think plus 7.5, that's a pretty good bet. So
Yeah, yeah. I mean, in Miami,
in Miami, yeah.
you'd think
With
it would
that
have been a
with that
home game and
defense,
a home field advantage, but
yeah, with that defense. Anything else you see in the team stats you'd like to
team
call out?
stats, I mean, not really. You know, I think Indiana was a little more efficient on third down, and it was Miami was 1 for 1 on fourth, and Indiana was 2 for 2. Those were very important plays in the game.
Hmm.
Um, Miami got penalized a little bit more, which is not surprising. That tracks with what we know about their defense. And
Hmm.
other than that, time of possession 36 to 23. That's a
Hmm.
significant amount of time that Mendoza's under center with the ball, compared to Beck. So,
I mean, that had to
um,
be part of the strategy because Miami has an explosive offense at times. I mean, they've got those receivers and they've got,
right.
Beck slings it all over the field and Fletcher playing really well. So you're able to control the ball 13 minutes more. It's a big
I will
advantage.
say there were a few moments where Miami got that pressure. They got 3 sacks and made them Indiana make a few mistakes that were uncharacteristic, jumping off sides and a couple things. But hey, this was a big boy fight here. So
How epic is it that a team with 7, 3, and 4 stars and 0, 5 stars beats a team with 42, 4, and 5 stars?
that's
Like
cool.
it just seems unfair, and yet Indiana plowed through all these incredible teams.
Yeah,
It's I don't know. Will we ever see this again with this level of talent? I guess we'll see.
not sure. Maybe.
Because
I mean,
I think Indiana's going to load up on 4 and 5 stars now. I think that's
if
what's going
there's
to happen.
enough, I'll tell you what. I mean, this season told you a lot about spending money on players and getting the right coach. And so you want to do both things. You want to make sure you've got a coach that motivates, that convinces people to stay, that buys into the big picture and sees the national championship possibilities and all that stuff.
I mean, is
Uh,
there any question that Signetti is the best coach in college football right now?
no, I mean,
I don't think so.
how long have I been saying that? Since last year?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we both agree on Dan Lanning number two. And who do you put three? I mean, is it Ryan Day? Is it Cristobal from Miami?
No,
Is it Dabo
I think it's
Sweeney?
I think it's
Is it
Freeman. I think
Freeman?
Freeman's really good. Yeah.
Maybe Freeman.
I think he's a good coach and a really good recruiter.
Hmm.
I will say Cristobal's up there because I think he might be the best recruiter in the
And
country.
whether we dislike how Lane Kiffin did it this year, and I've criticized him week after week after week, but he is a good coach. I think he'll have LSU in two or
Yeah.
three
I
years.
think he's good with the guys. He's a player's coach. They like him. I think
Yeah,
he's very much he's a good football guy. He grew up, you know, his whole life with his
hmm,
dad, Monty Kiffin, just a legend
true.
on all those Tampa Bay teams. Um,
What a fantastic game this was.
yeah, this
And
was awesome.
for him to get it done. It was awesome. So looking at this, Robbie, Fernando Mendoza's perfect season. He goes national champion, first Heisman Trophy winner in school history in Indiana, consensus All American, Maxwell Award winner, Walter Camp Award winner, Davy O'Brien Award winner,
Mm.
Big Ten Championship Game MVP, Big Ten Offensive Player of the Year, broke Indiana's single season passing TD record, and then first 16-0 season since 1894.
It
So
was a
have you
perfect
ever
season.
seen a season like that before?
No, no,
He won
never.
he won four more awards than Joe Burrow did in his season, which I thought was the perfect season. They went 15-0. So I don't know. I've never seen anything like that
I think
before.
this team rivals the two greatest teams I've ever seen.
Hmm.
The Joe Burrow uh, LSU team and
Hmm.
the 91 Miami Hurricanes.
Hmm.
Those are the two best teams I've seen before this one.
I think you're right. This was pretty cool, Robbie. According to ESPN on Wednesday, Monday's national championship game averaged 22.1 million viewers, making it not only the most watched college game of the CFP, but also the most watched non-NFL sporting event in the past year. So you're starting to almost get to NFL numbers now with college
Yeah.
football, which is what
Yeah,
they're going.
because it's
Yeah.
becoming more professional football.
And what do you
The
think that number would have
the
been?
players are getting paid like professionals. They're moving around like professionals. The presentation is very formal and structured like a pro game is. There's just there's a lot of elements of professional football to it now. So it's not surprising that you're going to get a similar result as far
So
as
here's my question.
viewership.
Okay, the Bears Packers game got 42 million. The 49ers against the Seahawks got like 40 million. Okay, so basically NFL big games are double. So my question is, why don't they move it from Monday night where they have it
Yep.
now and move it to Saturday afternoon at 3:30 so the entire family, including your boys, can watch it. And you can't tell me they won't get close to towards a 40 million number.
Yeah.
Wait, am I missing something here?
No,
Instead of being
I'm
nine
all
o'clock
for it.
on a Monday on a school and work night.
Yeah.
So I don't
Where a
know.
lot of people will tune in for the first half and then tune out.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's
Hmm.
my suggestion. This one's pretty interesting. Most rushing yards in CFP history in a game by Mark Fletcher. He passed Ezekiel Elliott.
Yeah.
What a game that was.
He was fantastic.
Do you think he's climbing up the draft boards?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. He came on strong second half of the season
Hmm.
and really was quite a weapon.
Hmm. And then this is a good quote from 3 years ago, where Nick Saban was talking about SEC dominance and that the Big Ten would never be as good. And he said people in the South would not go to the North unless you paid them. And of course, this was just at the onset of NIL.
Yeah.
So I wonder what he's thinking now, 3 years later, as
Well,
the
he's
Big
not
Ten
wrong.
keeps,
I mean, unless
keeps
you pay
rolling up.
them, they're getting
Yeah,
paid to go. So
yeah. I
he's
guess it's
not
true.
wrong. They're not doing it for free.
I guess it's
All
true.
those years when they were not professional and they were amateur, they were going to the South.
The landscape has really changed, hasn't it? Wow.
Yeah.
So this is our final AP Top 25 poll, Robbie. Of course, Indiana, Miami 1-2. They got Ole Miss at 3, which I thought was kind of interesting. Oregon, Ohio State, Georgia, Texas Tech, A&M, Alabama, and Notre Dame. I always thought that was interesting. Notre Dame was not in the CFP, and yet they slid them all the way up to 10 in the final
Mhm.
poll. BYU 11, Texas 12, OU, Utah, Vanderbilt 15, and then our Cavaliers at 16. This is our
Nice.
highest finish since the early 90s. That
Hmm.
was pretty sweet. Iowa, Tulane, JMU, SC, Michigan, Houston, Navy, North Texas, and TCU. Any problems you've got with the final poll?
No, I think it's pretty straightforward, pretty accurate.
The only one that surprised me was Notre Dame.
Well,
If they really
well,
felt they were the 10th, why didn't they get up in there?
I think Ohio State should have been third, but I don't know.
Yeah, yeah, I agree with that.
It
Ole
doesn't have
Miss
to
was
be
pretty.
perfect.
Ole Miss was pretty darn good. They almost
Yeah,
pulled
they
it
were.
off. Yeah.
Yeah,
Only issue I had was Notre Dame. Not that they aren't 10, but that if you're going to put them in 10, why did you snub them for the playoff?
yeah,
So I didn't understand that. I know Vanderbilt at 15, that was their highest finish in like 45 years. So
yeah. They
pretty
were
cool.
good.
Yeah. Let's
Vanderbilt
talk
was
about
exciting to watch.
our favorite new segment. Rob Pope thought of this: buy or sell. Are you ready for these questions? You tell me,
Yes.
Robbie, buy or sell. And everybody play along at home. Drop us a comment on whether you buy or sell any of these 6 items. Here we go. First one is Indiana Miami will be back in the CFP next year.
In the playoff,
Yes, in the playoff.
yes, I'm buying.
You're buying. They're both going to be there.
Buying. Yeah.
I say yes too. I think they're both going to reload. I'm not quite sure who Indiana's quarterback is going to be yet. Miami got Mensa from Duke, and he's an excellent quarterback. So I feel very good that Miami will be in the top 12 next year and be back
So my
there.
thoughts on this is Indiana has Kurt Signetti.
Mm-hmm.
They also have Mark Cuban and many other very wealthy donors who a lot of them live in Chicago now, but they're all from Indiana. Great business school. They have a lot of money at Indiana. They're pouring money back in to the system, giving Signetti players he's never had, incredible players that he's never had before. He's a
Mm-hmm.
culture builder, and so they'll be back. Miami, uh, not only do they have Mensa, they've got a lot of good players, and the U has mystique. If you if the U is back, people want to go there and see them.
They
They're one of the
they
biggest
kind of
draws.
felt they kind of felt semi back last year with Ward.
Yeah,
It was semi back,
yeah,
but they
that's right.
really feel back now. Yeah, I
Yeah.
agree.
And then on
I agree.
top of that, I got a couple more things for you. Um, I think Cristobal is the best recruiter in the country. He is got monster offense and defensive lines, and he will replenish what he loses to the NFL with the same kind of player. He teaches violence within the rules, and he teaches his team to have an edge and a toughness, and therefore they won't back down from anybody. They don't play dirty like some of the old Miami teams got a little on the dirty side,
Hmm.
even though, I like them and stuff. Don't get me wrong. But this is a team that plays with more discipline than that. I like Cristobal as a coach. I think he's an incredible recruiter. Miami's back. So, yeah.
I think they're both going to be in too because Cignetti's the best coach in the country and Cristobal's the best recruiter in the country.
Let me give you something to think about. Um, the billionaire alumni and multi-million dollar alumni that are stroking checks. Don't you think these two teams, people are feeling pretty comfortable about sending a check their way after watching that performance?
When Mark Cuban signed on 2 weeks ago that he was going to commit $100 million to the Indiana program, I knew that they had backers now. And we know Miami has billionaires behind them. So, yes, these two teams will
Yeah,
be very well funded in the future.
no question.
I'm just curious who Indiana's signal caller is going to be, but I still think they'll be there. So number two is Fernando Mendoza is the next Joe Burrow, and that means at the NFL level. Of course, they both had maybe the two most special college years ever. What do you
Well,
think?
I think I just said that in the previous segment. So yeah, I'm buying.
You're buying?
Yeah, he's
I'm
got
buying
leadership
as well.
qualities.
I'm buying
Mhm.
as well. I think he's big, he's smart, he's got a good demeanor. Everyone likes to play with him. He goes and compliments the offensive linemen. He compliments the coaches. He listens. He's coachable. I'm buying on this one. Will he be quite as good as Joe Burrow? That's to be seen. I think that's a really high level to attain, but
He
he's
might
making.
win more,
He might. It's
you know.
possible. So yeah, I'm buying on this one as well. The SEC is slipping behind the Big Ten overall as a conference. And this means financially, this means at the top, this means, overall. What do you think?
Selling.
You're selling. You still think SEC is bigger. I would have a couple weeks ago said sell, but I'm going to buy this one. I think the Big Ten now is so loaded with money at the top 5, 6 schools that I think they're going to be dominant. They won the last 3 national championships, and I don't see it slowing down. So I'm going to be buying on this one.
I'm selling for a simple reason. Nothing complicated. Uh, I think that if you line up the SEC versus the Big Ten, the SEC is a better conference. Indiana is a special case. They're kind of not beatable with this coach and their situation where they could get all those transfers from JMU and just build
Mhm.
so quickly. But other than Indiana, I think Ohio State started to dip a little bit. Michigan isn't what it used to be. Penn State is a shell of itself. I think a lot of Michigan State's terrible. There's a lot of relatively bad teams in the Big Ten. Not terrible, but they're just not great. And the SEC, go down to the SEC. I mean, Vanderbilt is usually one of the worst teams. They're a powerhouse nationally. Um, you know,
Well,
Texas,
you look at Indiana against Ole Miss. Who would you pick? I'd pick Indiana. You look at Ohio
Indiana,
State against Georgia.
Georgia.
I'd probably take
Uh,
Ohio State. Take Ohio State.
it's
So I
gonna be
don't know.
tough.
It's
But then you
still
keep
at
going.
the top.
After that, it's all SEC.
Yeah, no, it's
That's what I'm
true.
saying. Like, yes, at the top, yes. Like you might have all national titles for the next 5 years. Go to the Big
I
Ten.
think
But look at below 1 and 2. It's not close. The SEC's better conference.
the reason I say buy on this one is because the way it's worded is slipping behind the Big Ten overall. It's maybe not
Yes,
quite
no.
there yet, but
If you said
it is slipping.
if you said the SEC champion was gonna finish lower than the Big Ten champion, I'd give you that. But if you're talking about the whole conference versus
Mhm.
the whole conference, the SEC is the best conference.
Mhm.
I believe that. I mean, you line up. You,
For how much longer? Because the Big Ten is
well,
loaded with money.
we'll see. I mean,
Yeah. SEC doesn't have
I
the money the Big Ten has.
I don't. Are if you're a Penn State fan, are you comfortable cutting a huge check?
You got
If
Penn
you're a
State. You got
Michigan fan with the disaster that they have going on with their
there's a
coaching
couple there's a couple
situation,
schools you're not thinking of. You got Oregon in the Big Ten. You got Penn State in the Big Ten. You got USC in the Big Ten.
Penn
They're all have
State's
huge
terrible.
money.
USC had a
We'll
disappointing
see.
year.
We'll see. I think you watch the SEC and the Big Ten the next 2-3 years, and you'll see the gap is going to get wider. The Big Ten is going to be the best conference. That's just what I think because of money. So
Yeah, I don't know.
the NCAA Conference Committee will vote to increase the CFP to 16 teams in the off-season meetings. This is number 4. Buy or sell. This is apparently coming up in the off-season.
Probably buy.
I'm going to say buy. I think
I think
I
I
think
think
they
they saw the
feel.
value in more options, more teams. You get
Yep.
an Indiana. I don't think Indiana would have been considered in the past. They would have
And I
said,
think
nah,
they're
they
not
didn't play
they're not
anybody.
going to wait 3-4 weeks till after the end of the season. They're going to maybe wait 2 weeks and then start it up. They have to start it earlier if they're going to have another round.
Yeah.
So I'm going to buy on this one. I think there's too much money, too much exposure. They want to be the mini NFL, and there's just too much pressure to go to 16. So I'm going to say buy on that one.
Hmm.
We shall see.
Same.
The NCAA will start to enforce the salary cap. And you can see here a really good quote from Jeff Vogel. Sarkisian was asked if he's in favor of salary cap in college football. The funny thing about the salary cap is we actually don't have one. I don't know if anyone knows that because no one adheres to it. And the reason they say that is, yes, there's technically a salary cap for each school, but there's no cap on NIL. And so what they do
Right.
is everyone spends the 22 million from the school, but then the Texases of the world spend another 50 million on top of that in NIL. So
Yeah. So
is the
there's no
cap
cap.
is the cap really enforceable? That's the question.
No.
I'm going to say sell just because I don't think they can. I think they want to enforce it. There's a will there to enforce it. They know that they need to, but I'm going to say sell because I don't think they can. So
I'm going to sell because I think they want to. They're just too weak and poorly run
right,
that they're not going to figure out how to.
exactly. But do I think they need to? Yes. I just don't think
Yeah.
they will. No.
No, no question.
So our last one is NCAA will establish an NFL-style draft for 5 and 4-star prospects. What do you think, Robbie? Buy or sell?
So,
Why do you say that?
because I don't think it would be I don't think that the college experience can be mandated onto a player. The player has to choose the school. Like that's a unique thing. To go play in the NFL, if you get drafted by the Jets, you're going to New York.
I think
I
they
can't imagine a world where they're going to force students to go to a school they don't want to go to.
you're a sell. I'm also a sell, but I'm a sell only for practical reasons. I think they want to do it. I think they should do it because these last two, 5 and 6, are going to create some level of parity and some competitive balance in college football. So that's why they should do it. But will they do it? No. And the reason they won't do it is because the same reason that Mensa was just allowed to transfer, and that is the players are not employees of the university. And if you're not an employee of the university, you can't have an NFL style draft. So I think just practically, as much as they want to do it, they can't because
I
of the
think
rules.
the only thing worse than not having a salary cap is having a salary cap that's not a real salary cap.
Yeah, because
Um,
you just work
and that
around it.
you just work around
Yeah,
it. I think they'd
yeah.
be better off saying you can just spend whatever you want and good luck. That would be more honest than what we have now and would make more sense. They need to put in place a salary cap, which means you're allowed to spend X, Y, and Z, and that's it.
Right.
And without that, you end up in baseball where it's just the good teams that go to the playoffs every
It's the
year.
Yankees and the
And
Dodgers every year. Yeah.
yeah, Yankees and Dodgers.
Yep. Yep.
So, it's
Well, guys, drop us a comment on these 6, buy or sell. What do you guys think? So our memes of the week, this was pretty interesting. You had Indiana did not lose a fumble over the final 1,047 offensive plays in 15 games. They lost one fumble the whole year, and it was in the first quarter of the season opener.
Yeah.
Like, Rob, is there any stat that shows how well coached a team is than that? They had
It's
one
so well
fumble.
coached.
They had one fumble the whole year, and it was in the first quarter
Yeah,
of the season.
that's incredible. They weren't
I've
even really up
never
to
seen
speed
that
yet
before.
game one.
Yeah, they were basically perfect.
Mm-hmm. It was as close to a perfect football team as you're going to get.
And he had 6 picks the whole year, which is really low.
Yeah, that's wild.
Yeah, one fumble the entire season. Wow. This is pretty sad for us, man. Tonight's the last game you'll see college football for 7 months. Oh my goodness. Painful. This one, Robbie, is Mensa
Terrible.
gets a $10 million deal for 1 year to go from Duke to Miami. What is your take on some of the money these guys are getting, man? And why would you go to the NFL?
You
Seriously.
can't go to the NFL if you're going to take a huge pay cut to go
Yeah. You
and
go from
and
10 to 2 million.
and play bigger, stronger, faster players who are going to hurt
Right.
you.
So what does
No,
this
you
mean
you
for
take your 10 million and you laugh all the way to the bank and you stay in school and you actually do get your education. You get your degree.
do you think this is working out the way the NFL thought it would? Like I'm wondering, they're not saying anything.
Yes. No, it is
I think
because
this is good.
yeah, it is. I'll tell you why. Players are not um okay, I heard that there were in I think it was 20 years ago. I don't know the time frame, but I think it was 20 years ago. No, it was 2005 or something, 2004. Yeah, it was 20 years ago. Um, there were something like
And now there's very
100,
few.
there were
Right.
120 or something like that, and now there's 30.
Right. Yeah, it's
So,
much.
it's one-fourth as many players going to the NFL early. Early is the key. And what that means is the NFL is getting rookies who are older and more mature, and you're not getting these Ryan Leaf draft bust
Right. Right.
first round pick, but they end up being terrible. Jamarcus Russell, all these guys. You're getting fully polished, ready to go players who are rookies and doing all the rookie things, but they're more mature. They're not going to the clubs. They're going
Hmm.
home
It's
to
true.
their families. They have kids. They have, and they are working on their craft because it's their career, and it's staying in school is good for the NFL because you might have to wait on a kid who's a 5 star, but by the time you get him out there, he can have a 10 or 12-year career in the NFL and he's ready and he fits in right away and he immediately makes an impact and it makes people want to watch, the eyeballs hit. So, uh, the
You remember
putting a
what we
little more
talked?
time, putting a little more time into each player
Yeah.
makes him a better product in the NFL.
And I think what you're saying is absolutely correct. You remember what Cam Wyrick said? He said that exact same thing. He thinks it's better for the kids and better for the leagues, both
Yeah.
college and then NFL. One thing, though, is he also mentioned that he hopes these guys have good financial advisors. What is a
Yeah.
21-year-old going to do with $10 million? I mean, my
Not
goodness.
good stuff. He's not going to grow it. The question
No.
is, are you going to grow the money or are you going to shrink it with
And
bad spending habits?
what about Tom Brady's concern? He has a real concern that these guys, they come into the league. Let's say you're like a
Yes.
Carson Beck and you've got like he has like 21 million in the bank now. Are you going to be burning to be the best pro you can be? I mean, he's set
No.
for life. You know what I mean? I
There
mean,
are
mentally,
players who have that fire burning inside them
I
and
guess.
money's not the point.
Yeah,
So you still have those Peyton Mannings that Peyton Manning didn't do this for money. He did it
I
because
know.
he loves it.
But I'm saying, don't you think there'll be fewer guys who come in who really have that burning desire? And the question is going to be, how are you going to be able to
Maybe.
tell that in the draft? Because you want one of those guys, right?
Well, but they have a longer um, set of tapes on how they've been performing. So
So this was
the best
interesting, Robbie.
the best indicator of future performance is past performance.
It's true. This was interesting. They consider there to be 10 NFL prospects in the game on Monday night. Four of them were Indiana, six of them were Miami. And you see it's
Yeah,
Mendoza. It's that big 6'9" offensive tackle guy we talked about. Then you've got Bain and Mesidor. Those going to be really highly taken edge guys. You got Smith. You got Carson Beck. You got Omar Cooper, the guy you love. You got Moten,
yeah.
Hans, and Scott. And of course, some of the underclassmen you don't see there. So, what's your take on this class of guys coming from these two schools?
It was a fantastic game, and the reason it was so fantastic is because it was played at such a high level. This looked the most like an NFL game of any college game I've ever seen.
It's true. 100%
And
true.
and these people right here are a big reason why.
And they're all going to be playing on Sunday next year.
Yep. And I
Yeah.
bet you a lot more than that right there
Yeah.
is they're going to be playing,
And some of the guys were underclassmen. So that, Malachi Tony, those kind of guys. So
right?
this is funny. I've decided my favorite dynamic of the college football season this year was that Indiana's quarterback is the most relentlessly positive man alive. And Indiana's head coach has never smiled in his life.
It
What
is
a
funny.
dichotomy. It is kind of weird that these two got together and had such success because they're so different in their personalities. Mendoza's just like a happy-go-lucky guy. So I wonder if Signetti's a little happier inside than we think he is. He's kind of
Yeah,
an
no, a lot of
actor.
this is
He's an actor.
theatrics. A lot
Yeah,
of it's theatrics. He
yeah.
he said it. He said, how can I ask my players to dig down? It's 3rd and 7. The game's in the balance. We're down by 4. We have a minute left. I want them to be fully engaged, gutting it out. How can I ask them to be all intense if I'm laughing and giggling on the sideline and yucking it up? He said, I have to be as intense as I want them to be. And that's his whole mindset is he's setting
That's right.
a tone for his whole team, and that's why
It
he's
really
such a
is
good
an act.
coach.
It's an act. That's what it is.
Yeah.
He's
He
he's
said
playing
we're in
mind
we're
games.
in the he said we're in the art of show business.
Yeah.
He understands they're entertainers.
He's in character the entire game, and then he can let loose after the game, especially after the win.
Yeah.
So this was interesting. The greatest revenge game in college football history. I mean, this is a guy who was denied a walk-on spot at Miami. He couldn't even get a walk-on. And then a
I
couple
don't
of
know.
years later, comes all the way back around, wins in Miami, his hometown, against the team that wouldn't give him a walk-on chance.
I don't know if I'd call it revenge. It was redemption. You know, it
Yeah,
was it was
yeah.
uh it was a full circle sort of situation.
How do you think Miami felt about that, though? I mean, they could have easily had him as a walk-on.
I think they were
No,
kind of a little privately happy for him, to be honest.
yeah, yeah, maybe hometown kid.
They
Yeah.
wanted to win. Don't get me wrong. I'm not sitting here saying that, but I'm just saying I think they're kind of like, one of ours went to that side and got it done. How about that?
That is a very cool championship trophy. I really like it.
Yeah.
One
Yeah.
of the better ones. So this was interesting, Robbie. The pregame show, if you watched it right before the game, everybody out there saw these guys they'd been watching all year, the game day crew, and 3 out of the 4 picked Miami, which I thought was
Mm,
really interesting, including Desmond Howard. Nick Saban chose Miami and not Indiana. One of his guys that was on his staff, which was Signetti. Thought that was really interesting. Saban picked Miami. He said their defensive front was going to win the game. The only guy who picked Indiana was our man right there in the screen. You see, Mr. Pat McAfee. And
McAfee.
any thoughts about why all these guys were picking Miami before the game?
I think there was still a sense that Indiana had really good game plans against the two teams that they played that were significant, and the rest of their schedule was a little bit trash. I think there was an undercurrent of doubt of is Indiana for real? So,
Mm-hmm.
nobody thought they were
But don't you think?
bad. I just think
But,
they thought they're not going to be able to handle Miami's defensive line.
but don't you think Saban knew how good Signetti is? Like I thought that
Yeah.
really surprised me that he chose
Yeah, it's
against.
interesting. I heard something earlier. I didn't realize that Kurt Cignetti's dad was the coach at West Virginia.
Hmm.
And guess who was on Kurt Cignetti's dad's staff?
Saban.
Nick Saban.
Yeah.
So
Interesting.
people are saying that Cignetti's from Saban's tree.
Hmm.
Actually, Saban is from Signetti Senior's tree.
That's
So,
interesting. That's
um,
cool.
yeah, it is cool. I mean, it says a lot about how they get the psychology of it because it comes down through generations. Like
It's
it's,
true.
you know.
Well, I was
But
very
yeah,
surprised.
that is surprising that he didn't believe that his disciple
Yeah, I was really shocked because
was
usually he
bulletproof.
goes with this guy, he usually goes with this guy. And
Yeah.
Desmond Howard, I don't know. I didn't know if that really surprised me, but the Saban one surprised me. And then McAfee comes on the end and picks Indiana. So, of course, he's from Indiana.
I think Desmond Howard's going to go for the Big Ten, you know.
So the biggest scandal after the game, of course, was Carson Beck walks off the field, doesn't look back, doesn't shake Mendoza's hand. And then his quote in the press conference after the game was, "I don't owe anyone a handshake after losing a national championship. I owe myself the standard I played to," which doesn't really answer the question. Like they asked him, "Why didn't you shake his hand?" So, what is your take on this? Is he getting bad advice? Does he need someone to take him under his wing? I mean, this is not going to work in the NFL, right?
Mm-mm. No, that hurts you a little bit right there. That cost him a little money. I'll bet you some teams are on the fence about whether he's really a very good quarterback. They obviously have tape on him as a very good quarterback, but also tape that in the four interception game and some other games where he wasn't great. So he's on the fence in a lot of war rooms, and I think little tiny slip ups like this and what Diego Pavia did, they hurt you in your draft stock because people don't want somebody that can't sell jerseys, that the crowd is going to be easy to turn against, especially at
You want,
quarterback.
I mean, I'm
Quarterback's
trying to
a
give
tough
it.
quarterback's a tough position. You can't be unlikable and play quarterback as a starter at
That's my
least.
point because you're the leader of the team. So
Yeah.
I'm trying to give him the benefit of the doubt. I've been trying to give him the benefit of the doubt for 3 years. You know that I'm not a huge fan. I always think the in the clutch situations he throws the pick, but I'm trying to
Yeah.
understand and be fair to him on this quote. I just don't understand the point he's trying to make. Do
I
you?
think he's trying to walk back what he did and put some context to it where it's a principled stand or something. It's
What does
not.
he mean? What does he
He's
mean?
a
He
it's a
doesn't owe.
bratty move. It's a bratty
What,
move.
what does he mean? He doesn't owe someone a handshake. It's not. You don't
I
owe
mean,
anybody anything.
it's nonsensical is what it is. It's nonsensical.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know.
And
I'm
I've been a
wondering.
defender of the guy, and I've been pulling for Miami, and I've been impressed with Beck. I thought he played really well this year. He sort of put it to his critics, I think.
I thought he played
If
well too.
you look at his stats, he had a couple of bad games, and for the most part, he had 11 good games. And this game was actually really good. It's too bad. I feel sorry for him that he had the final pick that lost the game for him, but I don't think they would have been in it if he wasn't playing.
I
So
agree with that. I agree with that.
he had some nice big plays.
Do you think next year when he gets on the field, which he will at some point, do you think that he's going to be at the center of the field, the first guy at the center, shaking the other guy's hand to try to clean this up?
Yeah,
I
yeah. I
have to
think
think someone's going to get to him. Yeah,
he's gonna have a quiet moment and reflect on it and say, "Yeah, I don't really look like me right there.
that wasn't
That's
good.
not really
Yeah,
the me I want to be." So
yeah.
yeah,
I think he'll be the first guy shaking the hand in the first game in preseason.
yeah. I
So
think he'd be so glad that a team took him, but I think it's gonna cost him some spots.
I do too. So
I think
this is
people will be
pretty
like,
cool.
"I don't want that in our locker room."
This is pretty cool as we close out the program tonight. This is our way too early top 25s going into next year. This is what the writers think it's going to look like. They've got, again, Indiana at the top, Ohio State, Oregon. You've got, of course, Dante Moore coming back there, Texas Tech, Ole Miss, Texas, Miami, Georgia, Texas A&M. So you've got all three Texas teams in the top 10. BYU, Vanderbilt, Notre Dame, Lane Kiffin at LSU, and all the way down to our Virginia Cavaliers at 22. So anything you see here that surprises you? I guess Alabama at 20 is kind of low, but
Not really.
everyone,
I think it's all about NIL now, and I'll bet you if you line up NIL money, it wouldn't be 100%, but it would be close to uh lined up with how they're ranked.
I like all three Texas teams in the top 10. I'm not sure Ole Miss can stay top 10 without Trinidad Chambliss, who's going to be in the NFL next year.
It's gonna be tough.
I think they'll slip a little bit. I don't
But
see I don't
hold
see
on,
Vanderbilt.
Jackson Dart. They had Jackson Dart,
It's true.
and he left. And
But don't you think it's unlikely?
How are you ever going to replace Jackson Dart? Well, they had Trinidad Chambliss.
Don't you think it's
So
unlikely they'll thread the needle again 3 times in a row? I don't
I
know.
I don't
Maybe.
think it's that unlikely. I think it's like
Maybe.
better than 50-50.
You think Vanderbilt's gonna be 11 without Pavia?
No, no. I think
It's,
that one's gonna that team's gonna have some fall off
yeah. I
because
don't know.
Pavi had some special magic.
You look at these top 25, and other than a little bit here and there, I can't argue with it very much. I think these are the best teams and best programs in football right now.
How sweet would that be for Washington to get Ruben Bain?
Oh my goodness.
Yes, please.
I'll take it. Any
Yeah.
thought about why younger Mendoza, who backed up his brother this year, decided to go to Georgia Tech?
I think they're bringing in a
Maybe,
quarterback
is it maybe
that
just
we don't know
because
about yet,
and maybe
and
he doesn't want to live in his brother's shadow or something? I mean, I'm trying
yeah,
to think.
maybe it's just that's as good as it's gonna get. I got to go somewhere and get some money.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
Interesting. So
I got my natty.
these are the top 10 picks according to NFL.com right after the Monday night game. You got Mendoza going first to the Raiders. There's some talk about they may trade that pick for Lamar Jackson. So apparently the Raiders are having a lot of discussions with Tom Brady involved. Do we want to start with Mendoza and build him up over 5 years, have the rookie contract, or do we want to try to win right away with this roster we think is pretty good and bring in a Lamar Jackson with all the skill sets he's got? So we'll see if they end up going to Mendoza. I think they will, personally.
You got to
Arvell
go
Reese,
Mendoza with the contract.
exactly. Yeah, that's what I think. Arvell Reese from Ohio State. Magoa, that huge lineman we talked about from Miami, he's risen all the way to number
Yeah,
3 in mock drafts
he's good.
and being the left tackle for the Cardinals for the next 15 years.
Hmm.
Caleb Downs, who we know how good he is. Oh my goodness,
Incredible.
great player. You got Pano from Utah going to
Hmm.
the Giants. Carnell Tate now has gone past his lineman, his other player, Jeremiah Smith, and he's going to be going very, very high in this draft.
Hmm.
Ruben Bain to Washington. And then the rest of these guys. You got Jeremiah Love on there. Obviously, a really good pick if the Kansas City Chiefs can get him at number 9.
Yep.
What's your take about the top 10 picks here?
This is a great draft, guys. I mean, I can't wait.
It's going to be a lot of fun. We'll be talking about it here in about 2 months with our
Hmm.
draft special. So, going to be fun. Well, Robbie, last thoughts as we close out the college football season. We've got 7 months to wait. About 6.5 months from now, we'll be having our college football preview show. What are
I
your
I
last thoughts?
found I found that the discussions around this are really interesting. It's like a new world order in college football with money reshaping everything. Um, all the blue bloods are shifting to instead of it being the powerhouses that can put you in the pros,
Mm-hmm.
it's the powerhouses who can pay you money. And so it's going to continue to shift. I think Penn State might keep slipping. Some of the SEC schools on the lower end might keep slipping because there's not a lot of money down there. So they might be incredible now. Um, a lot of Oklahomas and that actually probably a bad example, but they're probably going to be improving actually.
Let me
But
just let me just first say that I loved every minute of this college football season. I'll just get that out there. It was
yeah,
fantastic. It was the best one I've ever seen by far.
yeah,
But I will say there's a little part of me that it still bothers me to see Mensa make $10 million, and it still bothers me that Carson Beck hasn't been to a class in 2 years.
yeah,
There's this pretense that these guys are students, and they're really not.
yeah. I'm not sure. We might have to just change our mental algorithm for this, that we assume that they're students. We sat in classes with them, Tom, with
Hmm.
uh, our Virginia players that were number one in the country, and we shared classes with them, and they were students. And so we are programmed to see this in a certain way. But if the whole goal is just to have professionals representing your university playing, that's pretty cool too. It's certainly
I
high
mean,
level football. You can't
it's
argue
great.
with the product.
Hmm.
The product on the field is as good or better than
It's very
anything
good.
we've ever seen. It's professional football.
It is.
So, and it's basically a minor league for the pros now.
It
So
is.
it's I don't know. I got no complaints with the product. I do think the imbalance, we're headed for a weird time where you're going to have bad teams with big endowments and big rich donors getting good really quickly. You're going to have top tier blue bloods slipping badly, like Penn State and
Hmm.
Michigan, and some other teams that are just not the same as they used to be. Florida State, what's going on there? What's going on with Clemson? There's slippage, the blue bloods are slipping and giving way to some of the new big time teams that have lots of money to throw at players.
I mean,
And
you see BYU, you see Virginia, you see Vanderbilt, you see all these teams, and the reason that Virginia rose this year is they spent the third most in the ACC,
yeah, yeah, they
and
spend
it's,
money.
it's as simple as that. So,
Nobody thinks of Virginia as a powerhouse football program that where you're going to where you're going to get a lot of money to go there. But if you look at the reality, go look at the money for each team and how they did and how if they showed improvement. And
Virginia spent more
you'll
money on
see
its
follow the
football
money.
program than Clemson did. You think about that.
Yeah,
They spent
yeah,
more money than Clemson on football.
yeah, yeah.
So it's
And they look better than Clemson this year, and that's with Clemson having mystique. So I think it's a very exciting time in college football because we're in the middle of a transition. I
mhm.
think we're in a transition from them being student athlete, semi or you know, uh, um, not professional or
Mhm.
what's the word I'm looking for? Uh,
Amateur.
where players are amateurs and where uh, they're transitioning to professionals, but in the lower tier,
Mhm.
but they're attached to university. So you still get that alumni pride where you cheer for them, you want to go to the bowl game. Um, and some of them are students. Some of them are not sure they're
Some of
going to
them
make
are.
it to the pros.
Some of
They
them
need
are.
to get their degree. Go get your degree for free and get $1 million. So you're set up for life when you come out. And I don't know. I don't see too much
Maybe
wrong
some
with
of
it
them
as
get
long
a
as
business degree and start a business, or maybe they
right.
don't make the NFL and they start a business and they were very successful. That's fine.
Yeah.
You know?
I just think we have to have some rules so that it's not the Wild West.
Mhm. We really
That's
do.
it.
Right now, it feels like the Wild West. It does.
Yeah. But is the product getting better or worse?
Better,
I think it's better.
100% better.
Yeah,
Because
better.
kids are staying in school longer and they're maturing and
And not
they're
only that, it's not only that, but a good player, as long as he doesn't transfer out of your program, if he stays, he's incentivized to stay. You get to know him a little better. You see him in interviews, you
like
cheer for him, you emotionally attach to him.
imagine Malachi Tony next year on Miami's campus. He's gonna be the big man on campus.
He's the big
In
man on
his sophomore
campus.
year.
Everyone loves him. Everyone's gonna have
Yeah.
Malachi Tony jerseys on.
Mhm.
He's gonna be able to do commercials at the local
All over Miami.
um all over Miami at the local car dealership all the way to he's never gonna pay for another meal in the whole city in that town. Um, there's something to be said for
Mhm.
that. And I don't think these guys are going to shun getting an education. I think a lot of them will say, yeah, I'm going to take this opportunity because
Oh
if
yeah.
I blow my knee out, I need to fall back on something. So the good coaches are able to sell the dream, which is I'm going to put you in the NFL. You're going to make money now, and you can walk out of here with a degree. That's a win-win-win all the way around for these
You're still
guys.
going to get guys like Steph Curry, who left after his third year at Davidson, went to the NBA, and made obviously a Hall of Fame career. But he went back 2 summers after that and
Yeah,
finished his degree because he promised his mom he would.
that's
So,
right. And a lot of players do that.
mhm. So, well, guys, fantastic football season. Thanks for going on this journey with us. What a college football year it was. Loved every minute of it. Drop us a comment. We're really excited to read some of those comments on the air next week. What you thought of this season, what you thought of this incredible game. And of course, stay on the journey with us, like and subscribe. And we got lots more content coming your way in the off season, and then all the way into 6.5 months from now when we have the college football preview show.
Thanks for joining us. We're the Sports Guys. Google us. We win.
I love it. Guys, thanks so much, and we'll see you next time on the Sports Guys. Have a great one.
Yeah, we had fun. See you.